Hello, I'm Bradley and welcome to my channel. Try not to dwell on yesterday for too long or you may well find yourself missing the blessings of today. Do you know, I find myself thinking about that more and more lately. It's been a bit of an up and down last couple of weeks, and I seem to be really trying to support quite a few different people in my life at the moment, whether it be through work colleagues, whether it be family members. There's a handful of people at the moment who I'm aware of who I need to just tread carefully, and I really do find that it's so important in this life. When we get a feeling that somebody's not in their kind of usual upbeat, positive mind frame, I think it's really important that we kind of take a step back to think, okay, there may well be something going on here with this person. They may well be dealing with something quite big in their life, and we need to change our approach. I think it's really important that how we interact with different people, that we vary it on different levels, especially when we find that something potentially around mental health may be at play. Now, let's be honest, this life, especially this last year, has been incredibly turbulent, and I think just in general, it's a healthy mindset to say that, unfortunately, not every single day is going to be bright, sunny blue skies, and that we do go through ups and downs in this life. But I think the most important notion of it is that as long as we have done our best, and as long as that we have tried to do everything we can to do a positive effort and to get a positive outcome, then at the end of the day, we scroll through it and we take a deep breath and then we sign that day off and we leave it. We take rest, we take comfort from the fact that you've done your best and that day has passed and you've had that blessing of that day, and then we get the opportunity to start all over again and pick that up where we have left that off. So I do really try to support others in that fact and saying that actually try not to dwell on what happened yesterday. Try not to dwell on yesterday, because you may well miss the blessings of today. It is so easy to get yourself in a spiraling sort of, I always use the analogy of, like a yarn ball and you can never find the end. I often think that somebody who's really stressed, and I've been there and sometimes I get there, whether it be about work, whether it be about where I want my life to be, whether it be about so many different things in this life, but somebody who is stressed, very overwhelmed, perhaps they're really pressured at life at the moment with a whole host of things going on. I always use that analogy of that real, you've lost your place, you've lost that sort of end of the string or the yarn in a ball of yarn, and it's just festering and it's getting bigger and bigger, and you can just imagine in your mind that somebody's kicking around, you've lost the end and it's just in a great big knot. Do you know, it is so easy to almost lose your way, and then by day, as they flow on so quickly seemingly, week by week, then do you know what, your life, your gift of your life, you are stressed, you're burnt out, you've got such a busy mind, you may well start to feel the effects of a busy mind, you may find that your memory is a little bit cloudy, you may have brain fog, you may have problems with your emotions, you may be quite stressed. Emotionally, you may be on an absolute roller coaster, and I really do think that one of the key things we can do to help ourselves is that, number one, if you're stressing and worrying about things, and I know it's not as easy as this, but stay with me, because I really do, through the things I've been through and through what I've seen my family go through and people near and dear to me have gone through, that if you cannot, change those stresses and worries in the next minute, or the next 10 minutes rather, park them, put them aside and pick them up tomorrow. If you can, leave them where they are. But if you're constantly dwelling on what happened yesterday or in the last couple of days or in the last week, you're never going to be able to physically and mentally 100% put yourself into the moment of the next day. So, for example, if I'm stressing and worrying about things what happened at work, or perhaps something didn't go quite right at work yesterday, how on earth, carrying that almost heavy burdened weight, can I apply myself 100% positively, healthily, both physically, mentally, to today, the day we're right on? Yesterday is gone, hasn't it? It's happened and it's gone. So if it hasn't gone quite right, if you're a conscientious person and you're hardworking and you're positive and all those great things, which of course most people are, and most people choose to be, and even the individuals who aren't, there can be a whole host of reasons going on why they're not quite there, but they're on their way to getting there. So never judge, never pass judgment, never make assumptions. Everybody is on a journey in this life. Everybody is on a different position in this life. But if you can, leave yesterday well alone. Sign that off. Scroll a line through it and start again in the blessing on the day we're at. Be positive, look after your mindset, control worries and stresses by using this simple analogy. If you cannot change that in the next 10 minutes, something I do, okay, to give myself a little bit of mind space, okay, is if I can't change it within 10 minutes, then I write it down. I keep a journal or I write it down in my diary. I shut the book up, leave the ribbon tag there so I can pick it up, okay, leave it. That gives me the pressure lift off in my mind has just been lifted off me, and I can start the next day afresh in a positive mindset, in a real kind of raring ready to go, knowing that I've done my best I could yesterday. Now you might be sat there thinking, what on earth's Bradley going on about? Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And do you know what? Perhaps the worst thing ever has happened to you yesterday. Let's say something embarrassing has happened to you at work, or perhaps you've got something completely wrong at work, or perhaps you've had a big bellowing argument in the family and it's just absolutely hell carnage. You're really, really worried about it. You're really, really stressed about how people are feeling in one thing and another. Or perhaps, let's say, financially, you've had a really big bill to pay and you're worrying and stressing about it. As long as you have done your best in every situation, as long as you have supported others, you've looked after yourself as well as others, you've looked after your family, and you've done the right thing or possibly the best thing you could have done in a situation, and let's be honest, the right outcome or the best outcome, there are going to be people in this life, or there's going to be situations in this life where it will upheaval or it might upset people. If, unfortunately, the right thing, whatever we choose to do it sometimes, is not always going to be best for everybody. Okay, but as long as you've tried your best, okay, as long as you're considerate and kind to others, okay, stick with me, then sign the day off, because you cannot change it. That time has happened, that day has passed, okay, scroll a line through it, start afresh today. So don't dwell on yesterday, my friend, for too long, otherwise you may well miss the blessings of today. You may well miss opportunities which might just pass you right by because you're stressing and worrying over what's happened in the last day, in the last couple of days, in the last week. Perhaps it's just something which keeps going on and on and on in your mind. That takes us to another thing, that actually if something is keeping at you constantly all the time, yes, it means you're a caring individual, and yes, it means that you're considerate. But if you're having problems with a busy mind, that's signs of burnout, that's signs of overload. So write it down, shut it in a journal, shut it in a diary, put it in a drawer, keep it there, take a deep breath, enjoy your evening or your afternoon. As long as you've done the best you can today, scroll through it, start again tomorrow. The power of just that simple analogy of just making sure that, for example, if you cannot do no more today on a situation, but yet you know it's a bit of a tricky one, but it's a bit problematic, you're stressing about it, but as long as you have done everything you can to get that best outcome, or perhaps you're waiting for somebody to come back, perhaps it's a job, you've got financial issues, perhaps you're waiting for a job, as long as you've done your best on that day, scroll through it. Do not dwell on yesterday because you'll miss the blessings of today. Because let's put it this way, if you're carrying that heavy, heavy load in your mind of stresses and worries and anxieties and perhaps overthinking, perhaps intrusive thoughts just because of the stress, the strain of what's gone on or the pressure you're carrying at the moment, if you're carrying that into the next day, when you can't even change what happened yesterday, or the events of what's already happened, how on earth can you apply yourself in your most positive mindset, in your most healthy mindset today? So it simply comes back to, try not to dwell on yesterday for far too long, my friend, otherwise you may well miss the blessings of today. Now I know that sounds incredibly simple, and I know it's not as simple as that. I really, really do. And you may even think, I just can't relate to that. Well, start small. Start small. Literally, if it's you where something's happened and you just stress all night long, just for a time period, okay, look at the clock and go, do you know what? From 6 till 7, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have my evening meal, I'm going to write down a few worries, I'm going to shut the book, but from 6 to 7, I'm going to enjoy what I prepared, or if you sit down at a family table with a family meal, I'm going to enjoy this moment, and then I'm going to allow myself to think about it again in the evening. And you know what? Perhaps then the next day, let's go 6 to 8. You're not going to consciously think about those stresses and those worries. And before long, you get yourself in that analogy that actually work stays at work, family stays in family, and then worries and stresses stay when they've happened, okay, and they're at that period of when they've happened. And then when you've done that day and you've done the best you can, leave them. Don't dwell on them. Pick them up the following day if you have to. If not, if you can't control it, leave it there. And that sounds stupidly easy, and I know it's not because I live that all the time, but this is what I'm really trying to tell myself. Like, for example, in a situation, maybe it's an ongoing situation, you're worried about a loved one, or perhaps with illness. As long as you are with that person, you're supporting that person, you know that person is there, that you're with them always, whether it be in mind, whether it be in spirit, whether it be holding their hand. Okay, as long as you're doing the best you can, and they know that, and they know what you feel for them, okay, then just enjoy each step, take each day as it happens, okay, each day as it comes, but just don't jump too far ahead. And I think it comes back to that analogy, doesn't it, of let's concentrate and enjoy the day we're on today. In terms of worrying and stressing what's happened, we can't change it. We can't change what's happened tomorrow. Tomorrow's a gift, isn't it? Enjoy today, for tomorrow isn't ours quite yet. So in all of those things, and we've covered so many different topics, I appreciate that. But if you can't change it, are we getting there? If you can't change it, what's happened, leave it. Don't dwell on it. Throw yourself in today. Do the positive things you can today. Put all that energy in today. If you're worried about the future, so much energy, that can be absolutely draining. Throw it in today. If you're worried about somebody, or somebody's going through something, you're worried about their future, throw all of that energy in today. All of that energy in making those incredible moments right here and now. Live today. Cherish today. Don't dwell on yesterday, because you may well miss the blessings of today. On that note, God bless, take great care, and I really do hope that resonates with somebody. And if you do have any questions, or if you think that actually I really don't get that, or I don't relate Bradley at all, then I'd love your feedback. Or if you do think that actually it really helped me out, or you'd like to ask a question or leave a comment, then please do so. It really does mean the world to me, all of the comments I get. And I promise that I try to come back to them as quick as I can. It's not always possible. I do have a very busy, hectic life, but I always very much make time, and I come back to every single comment. So on that note, God bless. Thank you very much. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you then. Bye now.